Are we recording already?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm
Oh.
Come on, welcome to the THeSuperPpodcast, episode 34. I'm here with my main man, Jay Flatbush.
What's good?
How you doing, sir?
I'm wonderful, man. How you?
I'm good, man. I've been busy, with Danny Cortez in New York City,
Say word.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I know, man. I saw. I was supposed to make it to Sotheby's, man. How did that go?
It went great. We
Tell
sold.
the audience what that was about.
Sotheby's was we had as it was called art and hip hop.
Mm.
He does miniatures like the mailbox over there is his stuff, but he does miniatures. We sold four out of the 5 joints from Sotheby's.
That's what's up. Shout out Danny.
Yeah, and they already invited us for next year.
That's what's up.
Shout out Monica. Yeah, and then we were invited to some Major League Baseball opening day thing. So we were there.
That's what's up, man. Danny doing big things.
Met your
now.
boy CC Sabathia.
Oh, word.
Yeah.
Tell CC to come on the podcast. What's good? Did
Listen,
you talk to him?
I tell everybody come on the podcast. But
Word.
what's up with you?
Hey, shit, man. Chilling, man. Grinding. Turn my crib into a fucking zoo. I got. I went straight Dr. Doolittle, bro. I got a bearded dragon.
Hashtag Doolittle.
Fucking tarantula.
Okay.
I got parakeets now.
Right.
Okay. Like, turn my shit into a sanctuary, bro. Like, I ain't got no friends that's coming out. Ever since I moved to Jersey, nobody want to come out there, so I got to get fucking pets now to make up for the companionship and shit. Fuck everybody who ain't coming to Jersey to see me.
But anyway, so we do have a guest.
We do.
But I want you to introduce him because you know him for a long time.
Absolutely.
Long time.
Like, this is one of the few guests that I ain't have to do no research on, man. We grew up together.
That's a fact.
Yeah. So what's good? Tell everybody who you are.
What's going on? It's your boy MICHANDZ, man. Live and direct, Flatbush in the building. You already know what it is, Brooklyn. But, just moving around, trying to get it in, man. Keeping one foot in front of the other, trying not to trip.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. Well, I haven't seen you in ages. I mean, we ran into each other. I don't know if you remember, but I used to do a party with Just Plays Santos Party House.
Oh, my gosh. Santos.
So I
Shout out
remember
Santos Party
Yeah,
House.
seeing you all the time. And,
Yeah, shout out the Party House. You know what? I was saying the other day, because I was driving in the area, that Santos is gone, R.I.P. Santos, and there was a lot of good hip-hop moments in Santos
White and
Party
Walker
House.
Street.
It was dope, right around from the court. So it was a lot of trauma in that area, by the way. I had a lot of flashbacks to 100 Center Street, just didn't move right with me. But if you go around the corner, I had a lot of good memories. So it worked.
It was a lot of good memories, man. Like that time of New York is gone.
That's a fact.
Especially that nightlife part of New York.
Yeah.
We're never gonna get that back. So, you have to enjoy it while it was here. So, I had a field day, to say the least.
Shout out to the fact that I didn't remember that, but I do remember the energy that you guys created with those events that we definitely popped up at.
Yeah.
Also, when we used to be on, what was that? Doing the vinyl parties at Remote Lounge.
Yeah. I remember that.
Which turned into something else, but it was Remote Lounge at one point. And I remember those were super crazy. You know what I mean? The all vinyl parties that they used to do. It's one of my best memories at Santos, speaking of which, though. I got to do the Brooklyn Hip Hop Festival with Ralph McDaniels, right? So shout out Ralph McDaniels and Video Music Box. He reached out, and I used to have a concert series called The Writer's Block, right? And he's like, listen, I got a set. I want you to curate the set with me and bring some of the artists from Writer's Block. And we're going to do live at the barbecue 2.0.
Oh.
And we had Large Professor on deck to do the hook.
I was on stage when you did that.
All right.
Because AG the Coroner did it with you.
Coroner's my guy. Shout out Coroner.
I have the matter of fact, I'm gonna cut you off. But I got the video when you did that. I have the whole video.
I need to see that if it's better than what I found on YouTube. Please.
I'll send it to you. I got the whole video. Because I'm behind you guys. So.
Look how Jesus worked when he moved in your life with his sandals on.
So I got you.
Listen, so boom. Now that he did that, so now you know I ain't lying. I'm telling you all a true story. So shout out Jux Diamonds, N.O., Lord Nez, AG the Coroner, that rocked out with me for that. We had Fatal, Joe Fatal from the original record, finish the record. Like, so we had Large on the hook to validate it.
Okay.
We did all our own verses on the beat, a version of the beat. And then we had Joe Fatal do his original verse to cap it off at the end. Right? So it was crazy. And I'm trying to, I want to believe it was the same year that J and J Electronica was out. Was that the same year? I want to say it was.
I want to say it was, but
when J
I'm not too
Electronica
sure.
bought out J, it was crazy pandemonium. But the after party was at Santos.
Yeah, it was in Santos. Yeah,
And that was epic for me, just to be working with Ralph. When we were doing the rehearsals at my home studio, literally the room I had that I turned into the studio where we were rehearsing, I still had the TV I used to watch Video Music Box on when I was growing up. He signed the wall and tagged the TV for me, so that was a blessing.
That's what's up.
Because I mean, you want to say something?
No, go ahead.
Well, you know, he's been like everywhere, man. Like I remember, like Knitting Factory, Gramercy.
Which Knitting Factory though?
The old one
on Walker.
Yeah,
because
I remember you in there. I remember you in there.
And so if you knew Walker Street, you hope to get to the big stage upstairs. You started in the basement. You started at the bottom. Now you know what I'm saying. Now you're here. You started at the bottom, and that's when. Shout out and rest in peace to my man PH. I met him there.
Yeah, Pumpkinhead. Yeah,
and that was the first time that the homie actually. I didn't know him, but I did my set, and on my way out, in my mind, I know this is not how it happened, but you know how you snapshot your own memories?
Absolutely.
In my mind, he had on like a white boa and fur, right? So he's sitting in the booth right in the back, and there's like women with him. This is not what happened, but this is how I remember it. And as I came past, he was like, yo, that was smooth. Like he shouted out my set, but he probably had on a hoodie and some Timbs. I don't know, but I remembered it like it was a Shangri-La moment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because this Pumpkinhead, New York Underground, this is a reputable individual.
No, absolutely.
I was still trying to get my traction, so that was love. So yeah, shout out the Knitting Factory.
Yeah, I remember you guys in Highline Ballroom. I was actually talking to him, and you were actually there because he was trying to do a song with AG the Coroner. And I was managing AG back then. So then he was talking to me and like, and you know. We exchanged numbers and everything. I always remember you was like right there.
Yeah, but here's what's wild. AG the Coroner, my man was really a coroner at the time.
He was
when I met him.
Yeah,
a real coroner.
He was a coroner.
Yeah,
bodying him on the mic. I'm like, you don't understand. Don't battle him. He the coroner. You deal with that things. Leave him alone. But they step up and get beat down. Like his bars, he up.
I want to take a little bit of a step back though, because you know everybody knows you from different places, right? I know you from Caton Park.
That's right.
I know you. I know you playing ball when we was like 10, 11 years old.
That's right.
Shit.
That's right.
I want to hear the journey because a lot of people don't know that story.
All right. So October 15th, 1982, I pulled into Port Authority from a 3-day drooling trip from San Diego, California. So you was born in San Diego? I was born here, but my dad was in the Navy. So we were stationed in Annapolis, and then from Annapolis, we went to San Diego, then came back home. So my dad ended up getting diagnosed with kidney disease. So they let him out the service. So he came home and brought us home so that he could deal with his health. So that's when my whole Flatbush, Brooklyn journey really started in my awareness. Now, when I was younger, I was on their time. I was on my parents' time. I didn't know what was really happening. But that week, I stepped into PS 249 King School. Shout out 249.
Shout out 249. 249 alone.
Free lunch champion. You know, free lunch champions of the world in Flatbush. You know, that's when you got up. You learned how to play suicide and all that. So I did my whole run there. You know, from the main building, the Shaw Annex to the Sterling Annex. Then went off in the Bay Ridge and then off to Fashion for high school. So that started that leg of the journey. So ripping and running, everything a Flatbush kid did, I did. You know what I mean? Caton Ave, Crook Ave, 18th, St. Paul's, Ocean, 21st, Regent, Argyle, Westminster. I ran on all of them. That was kind of my superpower. The fact that, and back then, he'll tell you, these blocks had beef with each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Argyle and 18th wasn't cool like that. STP and 18th, St. Paul's, it wasn't good like that. 21st and everybody wasn't good like that.
I lived on Crook, and Woodruff is the next block.
That's right.
And we used to fight.
It could go wild
all the
those
time.
two. We call that the back blocks.
Yep.
So in the buildings, you know, secret squirrel stuff. Now we grow, we can disclose. All the buildings are connected in the back, like between Parade and St. Paul's. I mean, St. Paul's. So if you hit the back of the buildings, you could pop out anywhere on the block. So now, when you got problems on Crook or you got problems on Woodruff, you could get busy and pop out anywhere and make your move. So shout out the back blocks of them buildings. Let's say that. Behind 33 was epic. But you know what it is. So we did all that, man. And the whole time I was doing that, I fell into the modeling thing. I fell into the design thing and the art thing. I was always into that. Shout out my man Scam too. I'm not sure if y'all familiar with Scam. Scam is from the Raucous Records days. He, if you remember the song "Stan" from Eminem, I even got the first mixtape you did with my man Scam. Yeah. So that was my best friend. He went to 249 with us too.
Oh shit.
And he was in my class all the way until he moved to go to Miami, and then that's where that side of his legacy started.
That was the joint, Releasing Anger with M, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
So he did and 5 Star Generals on with Shabam Sadiq and all of them on Raucous. So he started doing artwork for everybody. So he did a lot of the Shady LP art and illustrations, a lot of the tattoos that M has. He did the Beats, Rhymes, and Life cover for Tribe. You know, he's done a lot of iconic art, a lot of Ill Bill stuff. He was there. So me, him, and another cat named Sean used to go to each other's houses after school and draw, right? So that's where my art journey started. From there, went on to high school, fashion industries. That's when the fashion journey started. So I ended up going out of that into the fashion industry. I did fashion for 20 plus years. Sean John, Cross Color Caucanize, I designed for a little bit of everybody. And then as a freelancer or in-house. And then I ended that journey at Gino Green Global. And then went back independent. Then the hoodie I wore in here, I got a brand with my partner Pete called Sneakerhead NYC. So I do that independently now on my own time. And then my merch, you know, like I channel that fashion knowledge into factory relationships and know how to create the merch lines that I put out. So yeah, that's what it was, man. But
how did you get on with Def Squad?
So shout out Kim Sermon, Eric's sister. Shout out my cousin DJ Diamond, the artist. Both of them kind of got in Eric's ear from two different sides. Kim is like, yo, this cat named Handz. He do music, but he's a business mind, marketing, design. You know, he do these things. So she's in his ear from a business standpoint about, yo, you got to meet him. DJ Diamond is like, yo, you got to hear my cousin. He's out of Flatbush. He rhyme. He crazy. He out there doing this thing. Just standing. He runs to boot camp click right now. You know, he looking for a home. So eventually, one day I'm on a FaceTime call with Diamond. And, hey, yo, what up? I'm like, Eric Sermon? Pops in the frame. Yo, what up? Hey, yo, Handz, when you, I ain't gonna explain that, but yo, when you gonna come to the studio? I'm like, now? So I looked at her, she looked at me, we looked at the car, we broke out. We was in Long Island about an hour and 45 minutes later, because they are not close. Shout out Ron Conkema and taking a lunch to go to the studio.
That's what's up. I like that though. I like that story because you got an opportunity and you didn't even hesitate.
No.
Never.
You know, something my grandmother used to tell me: luck and opportunity favor the prepared.
Yep.
Right. So I was rapping and recording, and I didn't know what I was rapping and recording for. I knew I wanted to rap. And I knew I wanted to record, but I had no opportunities, no platforms, no outlet for real. But I, you know, in my mind, I'm like, it's coming, and when it show up, I want to be locked and loaded. Yep. So I just was recording like I had a label to turn this stuff into. So I kept going. So when I went to the meeting with Eric, I showed up with 3 hard drives, 2 terabyte hard drives and 1 500 terabyte hard drive, full of like this. So the funny part about it, look, testimony. So the funny part about it is, we didn't even talk music when I got there. Like when we first got there, Eric is like, so my sister tell me that you do this business situation. You know we got Def Rugs. So I'm like, word. So Def Rugs, shout out Fox Rugs and Def Rugs and Kim. They take logos from all the artists and do these custom rugs.
Oh,
that are iconic. Dope. Like they look, they mimic the logo.
Yeah, you never seen Def Rugs before?
Yeah, they've never seen everybody.
I've seen them.
Why you there so you can see what I'm talking about, get the energy. But so what's crazy about it is in 2012, now this is 2018, right? I'm talking about. But in 2012, before Fox Rugs and Def Squad had collaborated, I released a project called Say You Ain't No on my own, right? Shout out everybody showed love on that. That was Tretch, Big Daddy Kane, Smith & Wesson, Sean P. Everybody showed love on that project for me. So it was a blessing. And Bill Yon's, like, it was a lot of people jumped in for me. So at that release party, my man from my man Fox, who I had met through another connect, who happens to be part of Fox Rugs, out, shout out Fox Rugs. He did, as a gift for me for the release, the MICHANDZ logo, the MH logo in a rug, and he brought it to the event. And he had Tame One, shout out to Artifacts, tag a red carpet for me with my name. And he had that outside the event when I got there. We did that at a venue on North 6 called the Black Bear Bar. So back then it was called Public Assembly, I believe. So we did the thing. It was crazy. Fast forward, Fox partners with Def Squad to create Def Rugs. So when I meet him, he had already done a rug for me, which was a vibe, you know what I mean? So it was already a bond. Right. So when Eric is like, we're looking for a regional manager for Def Rugs, would you be interested? I'm like, I didn't ask about no money, I asked about nothing. Say no more, I'm all in, what we doing? So we got that out the way. Then Eric was like, the music is easy. We could do that in the sleep. What kind of music do you want to make? Yeah. So what I told him is I've been touring with Smith & Wesson. Shout out Smith & Wesson for giving me a shot. Touring with Rock. R.I.P. Sean P. Sean lives on. They really were cultivating me and kind of teaching me what this part of the game looks like what it looks like to be on time and what happens when you're not, what it looks like to have to get there in time for mic check, go back with 45 minutes, get back on time and do the show. Dealing with the promoters, dealing with the merch section, dealing with, everything it takes that they don't talk about to really do it when you're only going to do 10 minutes or 15 minutes on stage, but it's all the hours and hours of driving and everything we got to do just to get there, to get that 10, 15 minutes, right? So I'm like, listen, I've been doing the stuff with boot camp and shout out my fan base through boot camp that shows so much love. But I had some records that I felt like they would look at me like I'm in a fishbowl if I try to do these records. I sang before I rhymed. So I'm like, some of these might not be, if you remember when we were younger, if you remember, this might not be what they looking for. They looking for the block bars. I'm looking to try to make some records. You know what I'm saying? Some records. Like Eric Sermon got just like music and these wider, records. And one day Rockness had sat me down and was like, yo, Rock, like, yo, Handz, what you doing? I'm like, because he had heard the catalog. He's like, bro, he said, what we do is what we do. And you do what we do. But you do that. He said, why we getting what we get for shows, but with that, you could get us on the stadium shows. Yeah. If you do those. You're limiting yourself. So it always resonated with me, but of course, I'm here and I want to do well here. So, that's where I was at. But as I grew in my music, I knew that I needed to try to get this other stuff out the hard drive. So I figured that Eric would know what to do with it. So that's how I ended up talking. So we building and we rhyming, and he was like, what you mean it won't fit? Let me hear something. So I spit a verse from one of the songs, and he's like, that was hard. What you mean? I was like, but the hook though. He was like, what's wrong with the hook? So I sang the hook. His eyes got open like, that's what I need. And I got signed right there.
Oh, shit. That's dope.
That's how it went down. Then we went in the booth. And he was like, hold up. Bing, 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 bing. Posted it. Then I had an interview with Validated Magazine. Shout out Validated Magazine. I had a cover coming up that they had offered me. So I asked, you remember when 50 signed to Dre and M? And they did that cover Double XL with 50 and Dre and M. So in my mind, I'm like, yo, if I do a cover with Eric, we could do something crazy and try to mimic that cover. So the in-house producers at Def Squad is Eric Sermon, Rockwaller, Ty Fife. They all came for the photo shoot. So now it's them three, and then me in the background, the bottom, Mike Handz signs the Def Squad. And that ended up becoming a poster that's about to be an NFT because I had it painted. And that cover is a poster that actually sells pretty well off the website. But that was the official stamp that, now he ain't just telling you that we picked him up, but we telling you too. Official too. But he definitely posted that picture that day. Like, bang. That's so what's up. That was a blessing, yeah. So shout out Def Squad, shout out Eric Sermon, and everything associated, Murray, Solo, Redman, the originals.
It fucked my head up because, truth be told, honestly, when I was young, Def Squad was my favorite shit.
Salute.
Like, I remember smoking mad blunts to There's a Dark Side.
That's
and
a
all that
fact.
shit.
That's a fact.
Yeah, man. And then when I heard you fucked with him, I was like, wow, that's crazy.
Dude, when I heard I fucked with him, I was like, wow, that's crazy. Like, see, I'm such a fan before anything. Like, I'm a culturalist.
Mm-hmm.
Now, don't get me wrong. There's a difference between a culturalist and a purist. A purist has no room to conform or grow. He's just locked in maintaining what that foundation originally looked like.
Right.
I'm a culturalist where I just want to make sure that the roots stay relevant. I don't mind the growth. I just want to make sure that the bark that the branches grow from stays familiar, and that you can see the resemblance in the branches of the bark. You know what I mean? So I'm there with it.
Do you feel like that's truth now with like popular music, like what's on the radio and shit?
It's hard to believe. It's hard to say because when you really want to look at it, popular music is kind of transcendent, right? Like it depends on who is popular too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a mass of masses that subscribe to different things. And to me, this is popular, but to those folks over there, that's popular. Right? People just feel like they can create these lists or they can create these charts that says what's popular, but you really aren't doing a real accurate assessment of all the masses.
Right.
You know, you just did like most surveys, you do a short survey with a room full of a certain set of people.
It's just someone's point of view on a piece of paper.
That's right.
And audiences are so segmented right now because there's so many different. Like back when we grew up, there was basically the radio.
That's right.
Now you got the radio, you got streaming, you got YouTube, you got
platforms.
There's something for everybody.
That's right. But the thing about it is, for me, what I think we lost in that space is just quality. I think quality control takes, and I think any engineer can attest to this, like quality gets sacrificed with convenience.
Yeah.
Because you can just press upload the minute you stop recording. You don't have to get it mixed, mastered, anything for there to be some kind of standard of sound. Right? So even back in the days, a record could be garbage, but it was great garbage. Like it was shiny
good.
And packaged well. It was great looking garbage. But it just wasn't your cup of tea. You know what I mean? But you can't say that sonically it was wrong. Like, no, this was well done. You know, one of my favorite older songs that people didn't really gravitate to was my man Skilo, that I Wish record. I wish I was a little bit taller. That record was great. If you ever heard it in a club, it knocked. It was hard. But people overlook it because it wasn't what that era's music
album,
was.
by the way.
Listen, shout out Skilo. I got a chance to build with him, you know, once I got older. And I ain't gonna lie. I remember prom night was the bomb night when the Hood Rats got uptight. That was my dude. I was into it. You know what I mean? So, but sonically it was there. So that's kind of where I was at. Like, I just think that gets lost in this generation.
I remember making this point on a panel I was years ago, and Red Alert was actually in the audience.
Hashtag I was on a panel. Let's get it.
But Red Alert actually pulled me to the side after the panel. I was talking about, like, the quality of hip-hop and what's missing right now. And the business, from my perspective, the business fucked it up because of the sampling. Because back in the day, you could dig in the crates, get a sample, some real obscure shit.
That's right.
And then flip it in a way that made it sound new. And I think I brought this up on the last podcast. Once those artists started suing and you had to get samples cleared, it was a wrap for that. For what created hip hop, because I think that's what created.
Well, I mean, of course, it was Kool Herc, Cedric and Cedar taking a break and looping it. Hip hop was born that day. I think it was his sister's party or something. Right. In the break was born. Dude started dancing to his break. That's where break dancing was born, right? So we know that's the origin story. However, I think that the artist that did the original composition should be involved in the equation. However, I think it might have, they should have, see, it's like the internet. They didn't account for the internet becoming part of the universe. That's the language of most music contracts. You know, they cover the universe, right? But this alternate universe, which was the internet, when it first dropped, there was no way to regulate it. So all this music is flying, that's Napster, LimeWire, all this stuff was happening. They had no regulations in place. LimeWire is how you caught computer AIDS. There was no LimeWire condom, and your computer got infected and died.
Yeah, I remember that.
Because the science was a shared folder. You're literally reaching into someone else's computer on a network and pulling it out. But whatever's on their computer, you're pulling out with it.
Pulling it with,
So it sounds like 92 AIDS, right? Shout out 92 AIDS, the ninja. But with LimeWire, it was the birth of what we know in music, right? Like the share file concept. So, but back then there was no regulations for them because it wasn't covered in the contract, right? So it was a loophole for the artist that figured it out. Wait, I can go out the back door with this, and then I didn't breach anything. And then for the consumer, same situation, and then the payout, right? So I think that, again, the original point, I think that the original composers should be involved in the equation. However, I just think that there should be a different model that was in place so it wasn't so punitive and aggressive. Because what's happening is I'm getting you another check and I'm actually rebirthing some relevance to a career that might have been sitting. Like the art of the sample dig was to find the most obscure record. You weren't really... Puffy is the one that started taking the on your nose samples. Like he wanted you to know that this was Between the Sheets or Juicy Fruit, or like he wasn't digging.
Yeah, it was more subtle before that, right?
He was flipping what you knew. The art of sampling was taking a record and sitting there for hours watching you never know what I took. I had to tell you what I took. I had to speed it back up, unreverse it, and then take the filter off for you to know what it was. Right? And then, but now it was like, just loop it, put some new drums under it and call it a day. So then that's when it got a little blatant and honestly offensive to the person you stole it from. You ain't even try to hide my VCR. You just gonna play it right here in front of me. That's like I took your car and pulled up and parked it in your yard and said, yo, watch that, I'm gonna run to the store. Don't do that to me. You know what I'm saying?
Like, yo, I'll be right back.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Hold this for me.
So, you know, I feel that part. But shout out Eric again, because they have a platform called TrackLib, where now samples can be cleared by indie artists with ease. There's another version of sampling that we found out. Shout out DJ Diamond, the artist that found this, where you almost pay on consignment for your sample. So if you don't sell this many records, there's nothing to pay out until you hit this threshold. And then when you hit this next threshold, there's another payment option that opens up. So that gave the freedom back to the producer to get involved. TrackLib, the samples are already cleared with your subscription. So whatever it is you're dealing with, if it's already been sourced by TrackLib, it's covered.
Good.
You know what I mean? So that was a blessing.
Yeah, they got a couple websites like that where it's like you can actually go there and, like he said, you pay a subscription.
That's right.
And you can get the track.
Right.
The one I use is Splice.
Yeah.
That's what I use.
I've heard about Splice.
Yeah, I use that on my, shout out Akai. I got my MPC Live that I swear by. And since it's so integrated, I can download straight to the MPC. I don't have to, I have the 2000 XL, so I tell you, you know, I had a Akai S950, so I tell you, I'm grown up. But that's old adjacent for those people that didn't realize what I meant. But I not having to carry a Jazz or a zip drive or any of that, and it's all hard disk inside, memory, RAM. Let's do it.
No doubt. I used to carry zip drives and
Jazz drives.
Because I remember, when I was doing stuff with AG, we have everything on like a zip drive. We carried it everywhere. I mean, everywhere. You know what I'm saying? We'd be in the club like, yo, you got your zip drive?
That's right.
Yeah, here we go.
Let me tell you where I come from. I come from jumping on the dollar. I come from leaving y'all at Caton Park after playing ball, right? Everybody's still balling. I'm going to leave about 2 o'clock because I have a 5 o'clock session, 14th Street in the city. I'll leave about 2, jump on the dollar cab on Flatbush, go all the way to Kings Plaza so I go across the street to Sam Ash. I'll buy a 1/2 inch or a 1/4 inch reel that I need to take back to Church Avenue, get on the D train. D train, shout out to D train.
Not the Q.
Go to 14th Street to the studio that I was in, do my session, and come back. You know what I mean? I had to do that whole trip just before I could start heading towards rapping. You know what I mean? Because there was none of that. You know, there was no digital. It was all analog.
Right.
You know what I mean? And the studio did not provide reels for you. And if they did, it was an arm and a leg. Damn near twice what you paid at Sam Ash.
Shout out to Kings Plaza, Macy's.
All that.
Bong, bong, wink, wink.
You had to go, the meetup spot, which is Burger King on the first floor. Shout that out.
Yo, you remember Sabaros in the
Avenue U
Kings Plaza?
side.
Avenue U
Still
side,
there right now.
Sabaros, man.
Still there right now.
I was going crazy with Sabaros.
Cookie spot on the first floor. You smell on the
That's the
second.
most legendary. Yo, every time I go to motherfucking Kings Plaza, that cookie spot, you got to get at least.
Listen, we dating ourselves.
I promise you, there some over my bed right now.
Really?
Bro, them cookies are slamming, bro.
I love those cookies. Man.
Now the trick is to eat them while they warm because they will disintegrate on you and turn into a whole nother
after a couple
house.
of days.
whole nother toll house. Like all the moisture evaporates, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
But it will make you, it's like, you remember the cartoons back in the days where the scent had turned into like a finger, the smoke and the steam, and it just pull you. I'm telling you, no matter what you in there
As soon as you walk into King's Plaza, that first floor,
you smell the aroma. Like
whatever it is, you're on your way to cookies.
I'm going to get some cookies, man.
That's a fact. So, yeah, man.
And they still around, too.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Bro, they not going nowhere. What do you mean?
That's the,
that's a staple. Ain't going nowhere.
That's what keeps King's Plaza going.
Yeah, a lot of those iconic stores are
I'm
gone
telling
now.
you, even through COVID, they probably was still having like a little line or
Sneaker
something.
King, shout out. Across the street from Peppers. On Woodruff and Flatbush, Sneaker King, that you never really bought sneakers in. You just went to browse and find out what you wanted, then go find a better price somewhere else. Yeah. But Sneaker King and Selections, stop playing.
Yes.
Selections this is Flatbush history. You had to be there for that. This is where you went when you was shopping on Flatbush. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
So tell us about the album, man.
Man, this album, man, is...
Man, how long did it take you to do it?
All right, so let me tell you what happened during the making of this album. Mm-hmm. My mom passed. My kidneys failed. I did dialysis for 3 years, 2-3 years. I got a kidney. Mm-hmm. I recovered a year. I had some grandchildren. And then the album came out. Wow. So
that's
all of that is
there,
tied into this
and
album.
Then you kind of went through COVID too. Like
and then there was a whole pandemic. Oh, and I went blind for 3 months in my left eye.
Really?
Yeah. I had a cataract that because of the medication for the kidney situation accelerated. So I literally went from, we see a cataract in your eye, but don't worry about it. We won't even address it until it hinders your quality of life. To 3 months, I can't see.
Right.
To I'm laying on my right side, and because of my nose blocking this vision and this in the pillow, I could see nothing but blobs of color.
Wow.
So that was wild. And because of COVID, it was 3 months because I had to wait till they were doing in-office surgeries again, and that was all closed.
Yeah, because they shut it down.
That's right.
COVID.
So as soon as they were open, I think I was on the first 1 or 2 rounds that they got me in there and got a new lens in.
Man, so I mean, like, just like mentally, it must have tested you to the extent of like, damn, like I'm going through, like, it seemed like it's like back to back to back to back to back.
Honestly, I think I approached it the same way I approached my music in my career. I think that if I had to take inventory, I wouldn't have made it. I think it was a Nike commercial for me. Just do it.
Yeah.
And I've always done that. People always ask me how, like, because there was times I was doing the music, doing the fashion, parents, and doing whatever I was doing at one time. How do you do it? I don't know. If you ask me, you just do it. You know what I'm saying? You just do it, and you fit it in your schedule as you can. Like I'm free at 5, so at 5 I'm a carpenter. I'm free at 8. At 8 I'm a construction worker. You know what I mean? Whatever it is, it may not be every day, but when it's time for you to put that hat on, you put that hat on. And through the health journey, I couldn't take inventory because I was fighting depression the whole way. Like, so depression and anxiety, and there's a third, are the diagnoses that I live with, right? As long as you've known me, I pretty much lived with those. So I already knew those were the hurdles I'd already been dealing with. So if I dwell on anything too long, it's going to trigger those.
Right.
So I couldn't do that, right? So what I did was I kept touring. I would go to dialysis Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. But I would double up. If I had to go to, say, Chile or Madrid or something like that to tour, I would double up a day. So I would go Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then fly out Thursday night. I would go Thursday in the morning so that I could fly out Thursday night and be back Sunday or Monday morning for my 8 o'clock session.
Jeez,
on
so
Monday.
you was like touring and stuff.
I was touring the whole week.
Wow.
Yeah. I was doing meetings in the dialysis chair. My texts were like, what are you doing? People were coming. I had my laptop. I would take my MPC. I'm in the dialysis chair. People over there acting miserable. I'm like,
but bro, that shows you how motivated you was.
It showed me how scared I was and how much I was trying not to look at my boogeyman.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? If I'd looked over at this machine and these wires coming out my arm, I might have felt some type of way.
So the music was a distraction almost.
Everything was. I designed the most everything while I was on that machine. All of this, because the album was supposed to drop March 2020. But the pandemic started the week of my release date.
Yeah.
So they shut everything down. So I held everything up. So all of this I was designing in my free time.
You had it already.
When they called me, this album, I got the release date from the distributor. Shout out Modular in France. I got the release date the first week of March, that it was dropping March 25th.
That's crazy.
And all of this I already had, like, queued up. So the whole pandemic, every check, I would order 20 pieces of this, or the minimum of that.
You just stockpiling.
And I was doing it for 2 years.
Right.
So that when they finally pulled the trigger, I'm like, oh, y'all serious? Bang, let's do it.
Right.
And I just started pulling stuff out.
Good.
You know what I mean?
Did the delay change the music at all? Like, did you? Nah.
Because what I did was, I did a COVID 48 freestyle series that during the pandemic, I would go live on IG and write. I would let the IG followers pick the beat. I'll pull the beat off YouTube, download it. I'd write it while on live and record it while on live and then drop it the next day. I do the artwork that night and drop it the next day. And I think I did 16 weeks of those. Wow. You know what I mean? Just gunning. And that kind of kept me where I didn't have to update the album because all of my COVID-related feelings and everything came out in the mixtape series. You know what I mean?
Got it.
Yeah, man. I mean, yo, I'm telling you, bro, like, coming from a person who had, I've had kidney issues in the past. Like,
salute.
You know what I'm saying? To you, I mean, I totally lost one. That's a whole nother story. But
I'm with you.
You know what I'm saying? So
I got 3.
Yeah.
How about that? Because they don't even take the bad ones out no more.
Nah.
Really?
No.
Well, see, I was like 6 years old and a tumor destroyed one of mine.
Oh,
really?
So you the whole long haul.
Yeah. So yeah, but I mean, if it happens as younger, you kind of,
it's the only life you know.
Yeah. Your body kind of
adjusts.
That's right.
Like if it happens now, it's like that's when it's harder.
That's right. That's right. That's a great perspective too. Like your body only knows that version.
Yeah, but I mean, bro, definitely it's just, salute to you, bro, because I mean, just to go through that and still produce all this stuff. I mean, it's a testament to your willpower, bro. I'm telling you, bro. Like you should really appreciate that because not a lot of people could do that, bro.
I take it in stride. Yeah. I know it's a blessing. I know I'm grateful. I know I had a great support system. I know that when it got thick and I moved into what's called end-stage renal disease, where I think the title says it all, right? So skin started changing and stuff like that. One day my wife lied to me. She said, I talked to her all day. She said she was at work. I talked to her all day. She's a liar. So what happens is she was actually getting tested. She was getting tested all day, because when you test to be a donor, it's just like when you test to be a recipient. It's an all day test.
Right.
So from like 8 in to like 4 or 5, you're testing. Cardio, psychological, everything. It's a full day of testing, and she was cleared to be a donor. However, she didn't match me. So what happens is they have a swap program, which I always shout out because most people don't know it's available. Always ask about the swap program. So what happens is, say you need a kidney, I need a kidney.
Right.
You have your brother, family, wife member, whatever, that's willing to donate. However, they're not your match, but they're my match. She's willing to donate. She's not my match, but she's your match. She'll give you hers, and they'll give me. And that's how I got my kidney. So she donated a month before I got received one.
I remember when you was like, even online, you was saying what you was going through, and you was like, you was telling people like, this is what it is. Yep. I remember that. Like, it was very public, but I remember
sharing the videos and shit.
That was part of the cope for me, though.
Yeah.
So I was so scared of being ashamed of it, and you know how hard it is to hide your truth? The effort it takes to hide that, when I'm starting to lose weight, my color changing, and I'm in pain, I'm not up to doing everything I'm normally doing, you leaving the people open to speculate and draw their own conclusions. And then this is the internet, so rumors travel different.
Exactly.
It's not like these guys over here think one thing. They think it, then them people think it. So it's like, let me get out in front of it, since, I might not be this celebrity, but I have a community that knows me.
Right.
So let me put this in the world so I can control the narrative. Yeah, that's what I did. And it went really quickly to become this people reaching out in my inbox saying, hey, I'm going through the same thing. I don't have anybody to talk to, or I haven't even told my family. Here's what they're telling me. And then me literally coaching people, which made it bigger than me, which then helped me drive. Because now I can't let them see me give up or fail because I just told them they could do it. So that was one version. Another version was I got these kids watching me. My life's a movie to the people that love me.
Exactly, yeah.
And they're all watching the scenes. You know what I'm saying? And I'm writing it as I go. So with that in mind, I'm trying to write the best movie I can. So I approached it that way.
Yeah, man. I tell you, man. You shit. You know, like I said, salute to you because I know what you going through. You know what I'm saying, or what you've been through.
Thank you.
And it never really ends because you know,
Never.
As you know, you got to always check up.
It's a fraternity.
Sure. Yeah, and even with COVID, you got to be careful with COVID.
That's right. Yeah, my COVID was different than everybody else's COVID.
Yeah.
How so?
Because I take immunosuppression drugs so that my body doesn't attack and kill the transplanted organ.
Yeah.
So where your immune system is at 100%, or even if you're sick at 80, mine is at baseline 15 starting. And I take medication every day to make sure that doesn't change.
So he has to be careful.
So when you catch a cold, I catch the flu. When you catch the flu, I catch pneumonia.
So you got to be like extra cautious.
So when people see me with the chin do-rag on, it ain't got nothing to do with COVID. I'm Michael Jackson status. Yeah. With this transplant, I would have been having to move that way anyway. So COVID made me just not feel weird getting adjusted to it. Because that first year.
It's like the world adjusting to you.
To me. The first year that I had to wear it, the world had to wear it. So I didn't stand. Are we taking questions from the audience?
No, we're not taking questions from the audience.
Okay, I was just checking. Because I didn't want to not do that.
That would have been a first.
I was all for it.
Yeah, so for those that don't know, we got a live studio audience.
Yeah, I mean, I was all for it. Can we take one?
You want to take one? You got a question? What's up, man?
That was the best question I've ever been asked in my entire life.
It's not like contemplate. It's not even fucking.
This is awesome.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna talk after the show. We're gonna talk.
Yeah,
after
we
the
could
show.
get back to Crook, but there's a whole lot of life that's happened since Crook.
We're gonna talk after the show. All right. We're gonna talk after the show.
It's been a whole. There's a lot of chapters.
It's all right. It's all right.
It's a lot of chapters, but let me tell you, the beautiful part about life, man, is that no parts of your life is mutually exclusive.
Right.
Everything
intertwined.
coexists in one way or another, and they all lead to whatever today is, whatever your today is. Every decision, every experience is the ingredients of the cake that is today. So from the darkest moments to the lightest moments, from the grimiest moments to the brightest moments, they all, I love you too, fam. They all make today, you know? So don't think I ever deny any part of it. Like before I learned to throw my hands like I throw them, I learned to catch somebody's hands first. Yeah. And decide I don't like this. Yeah. I don't like getting beat on. I don't like getting beat up. I'm not getting beat up no more. So I went from that. So then you got those people that come out there, but I remember that time you got beat up. I'm like, yeah, but you wasn't there that day. I caught him. You see what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I got beat up. I got beat. I'm happy.
Yeah. I got my ass whooped a lot.
I got beat up.
But you know what? You
why?
learn from that.
That's right. That's right. And anybody that tell me they've won and never been beat, I'm beaten because you lying.
You're lying.
You lying. Like your life has to have balance.
Of course.
You know what I mean? Like I don't care what your greatest accomplishment is. You cannot enjoy that unless you weigh it against your greatest failure. Yeah. That's the only thing that makes it sweet. Yeah, if not, you average.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm there for all that, man. I don't run from no parts of it. My most shameful moments. In fact, speaking of which, this tattoo I have on this arm with Caton School on it, right? So if you went to 249, shout out to Caton School. If you went to 249, just for the people at home, this is a fence with a lion going over the fence. Sign that says no climbing, and it says the Caton Zoo. But that's because it's school, and the Z is spray painted over the SCH, right? So Caton Zoo. If you've been to 249 or you've been to Caton, you know what that means. However, my most hold on. What I used to feel like was my most embarrassing moment that I could think of in my childhood. I raced my man Manny. Shout out Manny. Mendez. I raced him over the tall fence on the small part of the schoolyard. So if you remember, there was and this is for Jay, if you remember the lunchroom into the big schoolyard, then when you come to the far side, going towards the front of the building, there was the small schoolyard.
I know exactly.
But there was the tall fence on Marlboro. So we raced over it. Mm-hmm. The hem of my pants got caught on the top of the chain link fence and ripped. The whole hem. I looked like a cowboy. Looked like I had chaps on. Drawers out, everything. Now I live, if anybody know me in Flatbush, I live right down the block from the school. So I went straight over, ran straight home, and came back. That was the most embarrassing. All I know is they seen my drawers. I'm out here looking crazy. The whiteies is in the wind. It's a body. So I lived that down eventually. Fast forward, we sitting in Caton one day. I'm about 25. My man Manny nowadays, same Manny I raced, grew up. He's a tattoo artist now. So I'm like, yo, you could do my forearm, whatever you want to do. So he draws this image. So I'm like, it looked dope, but what does it mean? He was like, yo, remember that day we raced? I almost wanted to fight him. I'm like, oh, you trying to play me? You trying to put that on my arm? He said, yo, that was the day I realized you'd stop at nothing to win because you beat me. He said, you still beat me. He said, that's when I realized you would stop at nothing to win, and you're the same way today. I said, tat it. He said, that's why I made it a lion going over the fence. And I didn't realize, because it was always, in my perception, an embarrassing moment. Who knew how he perceived it? You see what I'm talking about? So every moment shapes you and shapes your perception and the perception of you. Right. And you really can't take inventory for all of it. So holding shame where it's something that might be a triumph to somebody else makes no sense. Right. You know what I mean? It makes no sense.
So, speaking of embarrassing moments, I'm about to fuck you up after this podcast.
Jeez Louise.
Hashtag after the podcast.
Violence. But, go ahead.
We got to wrap this up soon, no?
Yeah, we got 15 minutes.
Okay.
So, Handz.
Yes.
What's upcoming? Like, what do we got to look forward to? You know, I know the new album's out. But what's after that?
All right. So, first of all, shout out Sovereign Ground Studios. If everything goes right, I'll have those doors open this week, right here in Brooklyn. So that'll be a blessing. The merch actually drops tonight, so you'll be able to go. Everything will be available tonight. Mm-hmm. You can go to MICHANDZ.NYC and then just go to the merch link. That'll take you to Faction 43, which is our online store, and you can cop what you want to cop, which is all love. The vinyl will be here this summer for Golden Era Timeless, and the first album, Hell on My Back, Heaven in My Wake, that vinyl will be available too. We just recently sold out. What else is going on? Me and Rockness are actually in the middle of setting up a tour for this spring, late spring, early summer run, so look for that. It'll be me rocking, Monster Nation, because we tour under Monster Nation, so me, Rock, Bo Black, Millie, we tour under Monster Nation, but this time we're going to tap some of our boot camp family, and we're going to tap some of our other affiliates like Illa-G, Rusty Jukes, Smith & Wesson, so on and so forth. And
that an international tour?
Yeah, well, we're taking bookings wherever they book us, so we're going to open it up internationally. So shout out Olympus Management is going to help us with that. My man Grant Gatsby's going to help us with that. I'm actually in talks with some other cast to bring on board. The radio campaign started on the 8th for the last two singles, which are Keep Going and Aventador off the album. Shout out Black Fist for pushing that to the DJs for me. Shout out to Awesome 2, Teddy Ted and Special K that have been taking care of the Sirius and the Scratch Vision radio run for me. And then MJ, my PR, she's MJ Connects. She's been handling all the media, blogs, and things of that nature. And that's all I got for right now. There's a ton of other stuff. Shout out, Sneakerhead NYC. We got the next spring and summer collection coming.
You mentioned NFTs earlier. Tell me a little bit about that.
Because he's an NFT hater over here.
I am an NFT hater.
So, here's one of those things. Have I mastered that universe? No. However, I do understand there's value in it. And if I can get $15, that's $15 more than I had before I did it.
Please tell him that again.
So I don't have to, I'm not looking to be
'cause he's a
nobody's
hater.
millionaire. I'm not looking to do any of that. I'm looking for disposable income for a disposable product. You see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day,
I'm glad you said disposable product.
That's a fact. Because here's what I'm saying.
Everybody treating NFTs like they're gonna be
No, I'm saying
God or
I believe
some
they will be. I think they have gravity to them. But what I'm saying when I say disposable product, meaning something that honestly would have sat in your hard drive anyway, but it has value to somebody else because it comes
no doubt.
from you. So I have artwork that I've done that even clients, artwork I've done for notables that they ended up going another direction. Like I got a Mr. Cheeks cover I did for him that wasn't the one he used. And it's 3D.
So you could sell it like that.
It's crazy.
Yeah, throw it up on the internet.
I have these illustrations that I partnered with my partner Christian Salute Confused Art in Germany that we did. I got Teen Wolf, regular and changed. I got Michael Jackson, regular and changed. With the front of the T-shirt is Michael J. Fox. The back of the T-shirt is him as the wolf. Like all this art we have sitting. I have a Nightmare T-shirt that has Jason, Freddy, Leatherface, everybody on it, all painted, illustrated, never released. This is all stuff that's just sitting in my drive. You see what I'm saying? I have a 6-foot painting that I did that's called the Trinity. It's heaven, earth, and hell. And if you, depending on your belief system, if you turn it upside down, then hell is on the top, right side up, and then everything else is upside down. It all depends on how you rock.
Well, Jay believes in the stock market. He doesn't believe in
I do
heaven
believe
and
in the
hell.
stock market.
Well, my point being, however it goes, there's a bigger mass. If it's about my market, I have a bigger mass of them than I have of you, right? So that's how I look at things I sell. Like for me, just because I like the record, I'm not enough. I can't go nothing with one sale. Like one sale, I can't go nothing. I can't go anything. So I have to target the mass that can drive this where it needs to go. So I don't always, I might not always agree with the opinion of the mass. They like green pajamas. I don't. But if they buying green pajamas, that's what I'm making. You know what I mean? As a content provider. So I get that it's a wave. And like any other wave, when you go to the beach, you don't go to live in the water. You go to ride the wave.
Absolutely.
So that's all it is.
You see there? You see what he said? Ride the wave.
I was saying there's a place for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Listen, if you listen to the last episode, he just trashed NFT, said it was garbage, said they don't exist. He's tired of.
It's a Ponzi scheme.
Here we go. See?
Well, I mean, here's the verdict. Like even a Ponzi scheme is a come up if you get out soon enough.
For sure.
So
it's all
that's
about
all it
timing,
is.
right?
That's all it is.
Yeah.
The stock market's
Jump
the
in
same
early
way.
and jump out.
Yeah.
But the stock market's the same way.
No, absolutely.
You get in
But
and it could plummet immediately.
The stock market, at least you have something tied to a company that's tangible that.
So I could say,
And you have catalysts that you could look at,
I could
earnings
say-
reports, things like that.
I could put my finger on the person that cost me my money. Either way, I lost.
Fair enough.
So that's what I'm saying. At the end of the day, it's the phantom of the roulette wheel. It's the phantom of the slot machine. It's the phantom of the blackjack table. Like I'm putting money up there. It could go my way and I walk away with some money, or I could walk away donating to the game.
Correct.
It's the same situation. So it's happening around you regardless. So it's either you choose, and we're not going to think about it. Let's be real. We're not going to do everything. There's a ton of things that come out and become popular that we just don't touch. Right.
Right.
And then some things we take a shot at. Like that's all it is. For me, it reverts back to me either way if it doesn't work. It's still my art either way. If I do my smart contract right, it's still my art. I'm gonna make it. I'll put, like when I used to do commodities, I'll put a rolling extension in my smart contract. So every time you sell it or resell it, I still get a percentage anyway. So I don't lose either way. I can give it to you. It's like Jay did with Iconics when he sold Rockaware. He said, listen, I'm gonna sell you Rockaware, but I'm gonna remain creative. I'm gonna keep creative control and you're going to pay me a salary of $250,000 a year. So that means I'm going to give you the soda, but I'm going to drink it for you.
Exactly.
There it is.
That's
No
a
doubt.
win-win.
No doubt.
There it is. So we're going to wrap this up. Handz, where can they find you online?
Man, listen. MICHANDZ.com, MICHANDZ.com is now on sabbatical. So you want to go to MikeHands.nyc until we get MikeHands.com. Somebody jacked me for my domain, by the way.
Oh, they don't play with that.
They don't play,
They
yeah.
have-
First of all, I'm completely flattered because you think it's worth it. I think that's dope. I think that's awfully dope that you think it's worth holding my domain hostage. However, when you get tired of holding it and realize nobody wants it, hopefully they're trying to sell it to me for $3,500.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out.
See, they have software to where when your domain goes up, let's say it's time to pay back, it alerts them.
Yeah, and they go to auction
and they just boom, they pay it
snipe
right
it,
there.
yeah.
Just to make money off of you.
Yeah, I mean, hey, we did it to Gabby Douglas. Anyway, with this situation, we got. I think it was more relevant. It was destined to be because now it's MikeHandz.nyc, and I mean, I'm super NYC, so it works out, right?
Yeah.
So Mike Handz NYC, MikeHandz.nyc. You can go to Google Mike Handz anything.
And what's the merch drop website?
The merch drop website. You can go to MikeHandz.nyc and go to the merch link, or you can go to faction43.com directly.
Okay.
And, sorry about that. We're gonna try to carry more artists and more artist merch. I want it to be a merch depot, not just Mike Handz.
Right.
I want to cover all my friends that have dope merch or merch that we've produced for them.
Right.
I want to be able to carry it there for them as one more
Well, we can
outlet.
definitely do something with Danny.
That would be awesome, and I would be.
But like I said, we'll talk about
absolutely
it.
on
Put
it.
some Super P shirts on there,
You know,
too.
Yeah, I'm open to it.
No doubt.
So Jay, where can they find you?
At J Flatbush.
Young stock market.
J Wall Street. Find me on Wall Street losing all my money. But yeah, man. At J Flatbush, Jay Flatbush.
Oh, so what's the stock market tip of the week?
Oh man, we're going into a crazy week because there's a lot of monthly futures on the options market that's expiring on Friday. So it's gonna be wild volatile this week. Unless you have a high risk tolerance, stay the fuck out the market this week.
All right, see, I'm glad you said that because I was waiting. Like, word, that's what we doing?
Nah,
Right now.
stay out this week.
I mean, I just been buying Bitcoin and stuff like that, but that's another story, you know what I'm saying? You can find me on Instagram. Pull apart the TheSuperPpodcast is on all podcast providers. Check us out on YouTube. Subscribe to the Patreon. If you just, spend that little $5, you can get this episode today, the audio. The video will be out tomorrow at 12 o'clock. When we'll be doing some more work with Mr. Handz.
All love.
Yeah. So we'll be back next week. Are we doing the Easter episode?
Maybe, yeah.
Are you religious?
I'm not religious.
Okay, so we may do an Easter episode.
Wait a minute. Did y'all just say next week is Easter?
Yeah.
Yeah, next
It's
week.
Palm Sunday
How did
today.
I miss this?
Yeah.
Hold on. I gotta
Last
go.
week was New Year's.
I gotta do Palm week. I gotta go do Palm stuff as soon as I leave. Party
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Damn. Time is just moving too.
Yeah, I mean,
Crazy.
like I didn't know. It's like somebody told me like this morning, like, it's Palm Sunday. They was like, oh, okay.
I gotta go get some jelly beans. Kids gonna be looking at me crazy.
But Suvi Podcast on YouTube. Subscribe. We got over like 400,000 views this year.
Sick.
We had 1.8 million views last year.
Sick.
So we're gonna keep on doing it.
Go keep rocking.
I'll let you guys know what we do with Handz. We'll do some content on it.
Please.
Danny, y'all know who Danny Cortez is. If you need a piece, hit me up. I'm gonna get out of here because I'm babbling now. But Suvi Podcast, ciao.
Peace.
Peace.
Dope.
Son,